As director, you will be ultimately responsible for the visual style of your film. Of course, you'll have the assistance of your production designer and director of photography, but ultimately, they'll be coming to you when they have questions. This whole thing of style was especially important on a fantasy film like The Assurance. I really wanted to create a fantasy world that hadn't been seen before. So many fantasy films feel like stylized versions of Europe in the Middle Ages. And I love that style, but I wanted to make something new for The Assurance. I wanted this to feel like another world, and I wanted the people to look broken and worn down. To make the world feel unique, I used a color palette of stylized versions of earthy colors. For the common area scene, there are greens and oranges, but I also added blues to the shadows. I really like this color palette. It's natural colors taken to a slightly unnatural place. And that's the style of the film overall that I was going for. A world that felt familiar, but also alien at the same time. For textures, I saw burlap as the texture that represented this world best. So everything was burlap, from props to wardrobe to set dressing. Burlap feels rough and uncomfortable and suggests the condition that this world is in. When you design a world well, it makes things easy on the audience and the actors. Think about Charlize Theron's role in Mad Max Fury Road. Her look is such great storytelling in itself that even when she isn't doing anything, it's still awesome. Just her very existence is compelling because her appearance is so well designed. But likewise, when you're trying to create a unique world like this, even little things can throw it off. For example, we used a bench for the goodbye scene so that the girls could feel more relaxed at the beginning of the scene. Now, you hopefully didn't even notice or think about it consciously, but I honestly think it's things like this that cause problems in our brains. I mean, if they're really out in the wilderness, how would they have a finished bench like this? Consciously, I didn't even notice this until post-production, but I don't think it's necessary to be conscious and aware of problems for our intuition to tell us that something about the scene isn't quite right. And as filmmakers, we often make decisions like this out of convenience. Hey, we got a bench, scene would play better sitting down, let's go ahead and use it. But the integrity of the world you're creating must be the priority. Now again, you'll really want to collaborate with your team to create the visual style of your film. Even if you're making a more visually simple film, like a drama or comedy set in the modern day or whatever, I still recommend designing the wardrobe, the color palette, just the overall look of your film so that it feels more polished and cohesive. And also because all of these stylistic choices give you opportunities to help you tell the best story possible.